Welcome back, everyone. Here we are, the beginning of another term. This is so exciting. I don't know about you, but my whole life, that sort of 1st of September time is really like New Year's, right? It's the time when you have new stationery that smells new, and nothing bad has happened yet. So it's this great moment. It's this great moment. I'm really delighted to welcome you to the beginning of this year and to this town hall. I hope you had a great summer. There wasn't too much smoke. It wasn't that so different. It was 10 degrees less hot and no smoke. Like, it was astonishing. So, and all invigorating for the year ahead. Before, however, I move on, I do want to take a moment to respectfully acknowledge the Silks Okanagan Nation and their peoples on whose traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory we reside. It's a tremendous privilege and responsibility to be in partnership with the Silks people, and every day we walk with them to a little bit more of reconciliation, which is a very exciting place to be. So, in just a few days' time, we are going to be welcoming, and some of them are already here, 12,000 students to this campus. I can't wait to see the move-in this weekend. It feels like, oh, that's good. It feels like, even though I've been here for 2 and a bit years, it's like this is the 1st September that I've worked here. And to have the students coming back to campus, coming back to residence, we're going to have move-in day, we're going to have create on Monday, and we'll have that wonderful school energy that we know so well. So let me do a little bit of a summer recap. I haven't seen you all for a while, and I know you've all been working hard, but you may already know some good things that happened over the summer. The first is that I was delighted that we were able to have the first in-person graduation ceremony in 3 years, which went extremely well. Students were very excited. It only rained one day. And we will have many more to come, including a makeup ceremony in November. We also did our first formal building opening since 2019 with the official opening of the Skeena residence. Had the Minister of Education here. Wonderful, wonderful day. We hosted community and members of the UBC Board of Governors downtown for the first time. The Board of Governors does have one meeting a year that they have in Okanagan, but have not had it in 3 years, so this was the first time that they were here in my time. And we showcased the plans for UBCO downtown. Again, a very successful community and university event. Town and down, we might say. And most recently, we had Opera Under the Stars here as a great partnership with community. We had over 1,000 people in the courtyard watching a lovely program of opera. And it was one of those days when, everything came together. They said there were going to be thunderstorms, but in fact, it was a beautiful evening. The stars did come out, so we did indeed have Opera Under the Stars. And the spectacular thunderstorm only happened after everyone had gone home. So that was exciting too. So, having mentioned that we were unveiling UBCO downtown to the Board of Governors in June, I did want to say that we are on our way with that development. It proceeds apace. We have had a public hearing in the summer to talk about rezoning of the space around our building. And there was, let's say, mixed reaction, which was an interesting 3.5 hours to sit through and to really understand some of the community's concerns and dreams. And what I would say to you all is that 90% of the people in Kelowna are incredibly excited that we will be having a big legitimate presence in downtown Kelowna. That is going to be such an important space for us and for Kelowna and for the community. We're a little concerned about the height of the building, but there's good reasons that we have that tower. And those really have to do with the real importance of building housing for our students. That we will have the first 8 stories of downtown academic space, which is, as you know, sorely needed. And the rest of the stories will be rental spaces largely focused for the university community, and most of them quite small studio suites, which will allow them to be affordable for students. This is 500 plus rentals. And to put that into perspective, that's more spaces than the Skeena and Nunchako put together. So this is going to be a major influx of spaces for our students. And you will know just how tight housing affordability is for everyone, but certainly for our students here in the Okanagan. We're also aiming to reduce reliance on cars as students can live and study on the site and near transit nodes and active transportation routes. Every studio will have a place to hang a bicycle, and you can get through the rail trail from there to here without having to go on any major roads. We're excited about fulfilling, I think, the long-term community desire to have the university downtown. I've heard lots of people saying that it was sort of a missed opportunity, that why were you up there by the airport? It would have been better if you were downtown. And now we have the best of both worlds. We have this great space here, and the city has kind of come up to meet us, and Lake Country has come down to meet us, so we're not in the wilderness in any way. But we will also be that core of downtown, which allows us to fully integrate with the community. So we've been talking a lot about downtown, but there's another building that's on the move, and I wanted to make sure that I told you something about that today, which is the Interdisciplinary Collaboration and Innovation Building, the ICI. I'm looking forward to us finding another name for it, because I'm always confused about what that acronym stands for. So what's been happening with the ICI? To put simply, a lot. We are very, very close to breaking ground. We'll be breaking ground in the fall. And so we have been moving forward in ways that you might not even believe. There's a huge amount of behind-the-scene work that has gone on, and it's going to pay off very soon. We're about to go to the Board of Governors for what's called Board 3 approval, which essentially starts the process that the shovels can go in the ground once the Board of Governors approves that final space. Our target is for occupancy in 2025. And you'll be hearing a lot about who's going to go in there and how we're going to make those decisions. Those are very much academic decisions that are involving the deans and the vice president research and the provost. So you'll hear about that as we move forward. But I just wanted to spend a little bit of time not talking to you about ICI, but showing you something about ICI. That we have a lovely fly-through that's been developed as a video. So instead of, this is going to be like a chocolate box of stuff. You get to watch things, you get to hear from me. It's all going to be amazing. So we're going to show you the fly-through, and I'll just tell you what you're looking at. So here we are, a sneak peek. So this shows you the outside of the building, and we have really worked in community with our Silk community to reposition this on the land to make sure that it fits the flow of the territorial space. There is, as you see there, a map of the Silk's territory to acknowledge this space we have on the Okanagan territory. And it really is going to be an amazing building. What you're going to see are both wet and dry labs, so that the ICI will have teaching space, it's going to have research laboratories, and it will have other types of laboratories, such as language labs. There's one of the big spaces, which looks a little like this space, which is good, because we need a few more large classrooms. And so this is going to allow us to teach and do research in a brand new building. So here you see the dry labs. In a minute, you're going to see the wet labs with fume hoods. Yes, here we are. Yes, there we go. They don't look that different, except this one has a fume hood. So there we go. And so what the decisions about who are going into these labs is going to be based on interdisciplinary research projects, so it's going to be very exciting. And then this is a community gathering space.
which is a space that's going to be available to all users in the building and the campus, and it incorporates Indigenous design ideas. And so you can see there's going to be a lovely, interesting round space there that will allow us to have different kinds of conversations than people just standing, sitting, looking at each other. So here it is. Isn't it beautiful? It's going to be just a spectacular building. And I am so proud of the close collaborative conversation that we have had with our Indigenous neighbors and partners. And we are very pleased that they have offered to give us a name for this building. We are still in the process of that conversation, but I think that is really a wonderful opportunity for us. So we're breaking the ground in October, I believe. So for all of you, that does mean there's going to be construction going on for the next year and a half, but well worth it in the end. In just a few years, we're going to be in a good place in terms of space, but right now, none of that matters. And so what are we doing about space right now? Well, we are trying to do short-term temporary leases to try and get some space made available. We do have space down Innovation Drive that we're using, and we're working on lease space at Landmark down the highway. Which is envisaged not as some permanent, we're going to have a piece of UBCO down at Landmark. It's just a temporary space, a sort of swing space, if you will, while we get these other spaces up and running. We're also building a second modular beside the modular that has HR in it, and so that will also give us more space, but again, that has to be built before we can move that on. So we're trying to find, right now, temporary space as we work to make sure that we have great long-term space. So I did want to acknowledge that in my last town hall in the spring, there was a lot of conversation, a lot of questions about affordability and the inflation and the cost of living. And so I wanted to let you know a few things that are happening, which I hope will mitigate some of that, and that of course, we have lots more to work on, but I really wanted to acknowledge that these things are moving forward. So in terms of housing, we are obviously working to create university rental housing downtown, and we are planning for more student housing on campus, both of which will take students out of the rental market for others as well. We're also looking at other affordability solutions, so potentially some kind of mortgage assistance for those who are eligible, a little bit like what happens to the Vancouver campus. When it was set up in Vancouver, we were so much more affordable than Vancouver that it didn't seem like we needed it, but now that looks very different. So we're working away on that, but there's still a few more pieces. So you'll hear more as time goes on. In the more immediate term, we are expanding our childcare facility, our daycare facility, so that we are adding another 36 spaces on campus by building a new piece of the daycare in the same precinct that we've had before. It will open, we are assured, in September of 2023. So we have one more year, and then we will have our 36 new spaces. I know that's a drop in the bucket, but we add as we can. We are certainly very pleased to have that second daycare facility on campus, and it's a very positive step. And so we'll work as hard as we can to help in the community to develop more childcare spaces as well. You probably all know, especially if you have children, that this is a bit of a crisis for the Okanagan, both in terms of the physical spaces and in terms of the people working there. So it's a known issue for us as well. If anyone is interested, there is a campus planning website, and you can take a look at the daycare on that website. Another important opportunity is that we have now developed something called the Pro Pass, Flexible Transit Pass, which provides faculty and staff with 50% off a transit pass. So it's affordable and green. We're very pleased about that. So far, 160 passes have been picked up, have been accepted accepted, and so that's a good start. The deadline to enroll was yesterday, August 31st, but the campus planning office has said that they can extend it to September 2nd, which is tomorrow. So if you still want to enroll, you absolutely can. Please go to it's transportation.ok.ubc.ca/propass to find out more. Seems ironic to say that when there's about to be a bus strike, but I'm sure we'll sort that out. And I will say that the ProPass is here to stay, that this was a pilot and it's already been successful enough that we are going to keep it on campus. So you will have heard the labor action question about the Kelowna transit workers, that they have had a strike vote and issued a strike notice earlier this week. They will be working to rule essentially starting tomorrow, so they won't be wearing uniforms, which will show us. And they won't be doing overtime. We're hopeful that this will be sorted soon, and we can't intervene in something like this, but we certainly can make it known to both sides that we are looking for a speedy solution to this issue. And so we will keep you posted. We're going to have a notice on our website that kind of like we did with COVID, so you can link right through and find out what the status is. And we're looking at mitigation plans, seeing if we can help with things like ride shares. Are there ways that we do things virtually while we wait to get back to transit? So there's a lot of planning going on for this, and do keep posted on the website to see where we are with that. In more exciting forward-looking news, I want to remind you that September will have Orange Shirt Day. That we have a number of events and exhibitions that are planned that are leading up to the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation at the end of September. We'll be putting up the flags in the middle of September, which were beautiful, beautiful flags, banners that were designed by Okanagan Nation Alliance Silk's artist Billy Kruger. I loved those last year, and so we've been careful with them so we can put them back up, which is wonderful. We have something called the Legacy of Hope Foundation's new day school exhibit, Indian Day Schools in Canada, an Introduction, which will be on display in the library from September 19th to October 7th. It's going to be a very, very important display, so I really urge you to come and see it. There will be a speaker event with author Wajikik Rice on September 21st. You may know him as the best-selling author of Moon of the Crusted Snow. He's an author and journalist originally from Washok First Nation. And of course, in the coming weeks, we'll be releasing our annual progress report on UBCO's Truth and Reconciliation commitments. If any of you did not see our release last year, I'm pretty sure that it is still available on the website. And it was a really, really moving release because we brought in, we included two students, an undergraduate and a graduate student in the Ensilkan language fluency program who spoke in their language, and the elders were so delighted. It was a really, really moving presentation. One of the things about that Ensilkan language fluency degree is we, as an entity of Canada, took language away. And this is giving language back. And language is the most fundamental part of who you are and what as a person, as a culture. And so this is the first step, but it's such an important step in reconciliation. And I am so proud that we are doing that. While we're in the being proud of what we've been doing, but also thanking people, I really did want to recognize that today we're here to acknowledge the outstanding contributions and service to the campus and the community. That we'll see that when we're applauding people as they go across the stage. But I wanted to take a moment to recognize the hard work that was done by the members of the Anti-Racism and Inclusive Excellence Task Force. Addressing many forms of systemic racism and promoting inclusive excellence at UBC, it's a huge undertaking, and it was emotional labor as well as every other type of labor you can imagine. We owe a big debt of gratitude to those who stepped forward on both campuses, but particularly on our campus in taking on this important work. And so I wanted to name the members of the ARI Task Force who are from UBCO, and that we owe a debt of gratitude for the work they have done to get us started in a better way in terms of what we need to do about racism on this campus and in the system. So Sahir Ahmed, Dr. Margot Temes, Dr. Dixon Sukraj, Dr. Gabrielle Legault, Dr. Donna Kurtz, Laura Prada, Stephanie Awatwi Pratt, Jason Remedios, Binta Sise, and Tashia Kunanayo. So thank you to all of them. And thank you especially to Shirley Chow as one of the co-leads on the ARI Task Force. Without Shirley and Handel, Wright, this could not have happened. So thank you to Shirley for all that hard work. So the elephant in the room. Some of you may have heard that President Ono is stepping down as president, that he will be leaving in October to become the president of the University of Michigan. This is an incredible opportunity for him, and we are sorry to see him go, and I really hope that he has a fabulous third presidency at Michigan and takes all the lessons learned from UBCO and UBC, I should say, as he goes. So you'll know that the Board of Governors is now accepting nominations for members of the Presidential Search Committee, and I really want to urge people to consider putting their name forward before the deadline of September 16th. I think it's going to be very important to have UBCO participation on this search committee. And the search committee, in case you wondered, is completely set out by board policies. So there's been a number of people saying, why aren't there more here? Why aren't there more there? And the board would have to change what they're doing. So we deal with a policy and we just try and make sure we insert ourselves into it. So do that. Now, during the search process, and I believe very soon, the board will be appointing an acting president. I know this is a key priority for the board, and I anticipate we're going to hear more in the coming weeks, but I have to tell you, I know nothing. So it's an elephant in the room about which I know nothing. So hopefully, we've got 5.5 weeks, and so I hope we will find out something in the next few weeks. I am happy to share more information about searches and appointments on this campus, which we can control, at least more or less. So we're in the final stages of our provost search, and I think everyone should anticipate an excellent outcome. I'm very pleased with where this has gone. I had hoped that we would be announcing it very soon, but we're at the whim of the board meetings because it is indeed the board that approves such a thing. So that hopefully in the next couple of weeks we will get to that. So stay tuned. We'll definitely let you know as soon as we can. But in the meantime, I'm very pleased to share other leadership appointments over the summer. I'd like to welcome the new Associate Provost, Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Anti-Racism. Dr. Yannick Eikenaar has been appointed to this role for a 1-year term, effective August 1st, 2022. This summer, we also welcomed a new AVP, Equity and Inclusion, Dr. Arij Al-Shabab. Based out of Vancouver, Dr. Al-Shaba will work to advance human rights, planning and evaluation, education, and systems across both campuses. And she already has reached out and wants to be very active in working with us in UBCO as we want to move forward in all of those areas of inclusion, anti-racism, diversity, and equity. I'd also like to congratulate Heather Berenger on her reappointment as Chief Librarian and Associate Provost, Academic Operations and Services, well deserved, and we're very excited that Heather continues to work with us. And to welcome Professor Will Hughes as the Director of the School of Engineering. Dr. Hughes comes to us from Boise University, and we are so delighted to have him. I know he will be a great addition to our campus community. Another new addition to our campus this summer is Alex Bain, who brings years of experience with UBC HR to UBCO as our Managing Director of Human Resources. And you'll hear more from Alex later on, but I'm so pleased to have you here joining our team. We have a number of people in new roles and new faces on campus, perhaps even more than one realizes. Because we've been so remote for so long, there'll be people that even have been here for a couple of years and you don't yet know. I was delighted to welcome new professors on campus at the new faculty orientation last week. We have 11 new members of the professoriate who joined us this summer and who join a further 45 who have joined since the beginning of the pandemic. So we have over 50 professors and research faculty who have completely been here during COVID, which is a very interesting phenomenon. One will need to make sure that we help them move into this new regime in a sort of post-COVID way. But it's not just the professoriate. We also have had new staff members. And of course, we welcome new graduate students yesterday. We'll be welcoming new undergraduates on the weekend. So let me just do a quick show of hands. How many of you are starting your first September at UBC? Raise your hands. Okay, well, welcome. And at the other end of the spectrum, how many of you have been here for 10 years or more? Put up your hands. Okay, leave them up. So all the people who put up their hands the first time, see all those people? They're the ones to ask. They know everything. So thank you all for being here for many years and supporting us as we go forward. So that's fabulous. So after seeing that show of hands and really thinking about incredible staff members, faculty members, the staff members that we're going to honor later in the program, I'm continually struck by the great people we have on campus. We really do have people who go above and beyond every single day. UBCO is an amazing institution. We have excellent teaching and learning experiences, meaningful, important programs that students want to come to and graduate from to do astonishing things in their life and in the world around us. We have discipline-changing research, which is important globally and locally, and we have partnerships and collaborations with our community, locally and globally, that make a difference to those communities and to us. We are both changed. We walk together in that way. And none of this would be possible without the great people of the UBCO community. So I want to end my piece here by just thanking you all for the hard work that you put in every day, whether it's virtually, whether it's personally on campus, in teams, on your own. This is what makes this place special. And I really want to remind you all that what you do matters. It matters to that central core. You may not be teaching a student, but you are ensuring that students are moving through their degrees, that they are having a great experience, that they will go out into the world and transform that world. We transform their lives and they transform our lives. And we are all part of making that happen. So never doubt that you have a mission that is so important and almost like a sacred trust that we have so much to do for these young people and for the world that they are going to inherit, and help them to make sure that we have a good world as well. So I really want to thank you and remind you of just how important that is. So I hope everyone's as excited as I am to kick off the academic year. And we need to come together, keep up the good work, and make it a great year. Thank you, and good luck in the coming year.
Thank you, Leslie. So as promised, we are going to get to a Q&A, but we just have one more person to hear from before that happens. This is an important person to introduce because he's my boss, Associate Vice President of University Relations, Martin Youssef.
Okay, so I am talking about Adrian's remarks. Okay, great. So Adrian Skinner sends her regrets that she can't be here, and I am not going to try to replicate her broadcast presence. There is a reason why I was a print journalist, not a broadcast journalist. So I'm here to tell you about an exciting week of activities later this month, which is the Think Forward. If you look down at right in front of you, you'll see the brochures that are there. It's Think Forward at UBC Homecoming, and I hope that each of you will be able to participate and register for the event. It's our 5th annual homecoming weekend, and it kicks off on Friday, September 23rd, with a double-header, Heat men's and women's soccer game, as well as in-conversation event with celebrated Kelowna entrepreneur Lane Merrifield. So on Saturday, September 24th, Homecoming Super Saturday, that is, it'll feature our Think Forward event, and that's the detail that's right in front of you, which starts at 11 a.m. In the University Ballroom. Think Forward is the university's first ever live simulcast between both campuses, which is a really interesting technology, so you'll see it on that day. Faculty, staff, alumni, donors, and friends will be invited to attend this in-person event. The program is going to be hosted by CBC journalist Ian Hennemansing. The event is going to be at the UNC Ballroom. We want people in the UNC Ballroom, so we want you in that venue. And I should also say that this is open to family, friends, colleagues as well, so please do invite and bring your family to this event. You have to register though, so please make sure you do that and join us in person. The program is going to feature our Think Forward thinkers, which are renowned researchers, Dr. Mary Jung, on preventing diabetes, Dr. Jian Liu on the future of batteries, and Dr. Jeanette Armstrong, the Indigenous language protector. Both Santa and Leslie are going to be launching the most ambitious campaign in UBC's histories and showcasing how we are positioning to solve some of the most complex problems that are facing our society and planet. So after the Think Forward, we're going to enjoy a picnic lunch together in the Homecoming Plaza in the Central Courtyard and launch UBC's Open Day. So you're going to have a tour. There's going to be 3D printers, popcorn, mini student film festival. All the stars we can't see in the visualization lab. I'm not even sure what that means, but it sounds exciting. A screen printing class, alumni art show with wine. And in the afternoon, the Heat women's soccer is going to be in squaring off against the Trinity Western Spartans. This is a day that you do not want to miss. There will be free food, camaraderie, many things to do and see as we think forward and look to the future. And I think the next slide. So please make sure you register for Think Forward on the link that's on the screen and also right in front of you, and watch for the notifications as we do this. If you do have questions, we do have colleagues that are here. Sarah, if you can raise your hands, along with her colleagues as well, so you could talk to them about this afterwards. So that's all, back to you.
Okay, so I'll ask Leslie to come back up to the stage. We are going to go into the Q&A portion, and the first thing you need to do, or the first thing to keep in mind, is that there are microphones in the aisles on either side. So if you do want to get up and ask your question in front of everyone, you're welcome to do that. But we also have Slido, and I'll just ask Malcolm to put up the Slido page. There's a QR code. You can log in. The passcode is UBCO, so everyone can whip out their phones, open up a web browser. You don't need an app or anything like that, and log into Slido, because you can ask your questions electronically if you want to. But so here's where we're doing things a little differently. Normally, for the town hall, I'd have a couple of zingers ready for Leslie to start things off. We're not going to do that this time because I actually have a question for you, the audience. We're going to do a poll right now. So Malcolm, if you can put up the first poll. There it is right there. Okay, so this is admittedly a bit of a softball question, but it's just to get the juices flowing, to get you warmed up. This is actually a word cloud, so you can put in anything you're excited about, anything you're looking forward to, and actually, Malcolm, you can show the results live as they're coming in. It could be seeing maybe student faces, meeting up with colleagues, maybe a nice pumpkin spice latte for the fall. That's always exciting.
Ooh, I love a word cloud.
Energy seems to be top of mind to everyone, which is great. Energy in students, that sounds like about right.
Not the loud hand dryers? What the?
So it's nice to see that students is right in the middle of that, because that is what we're all about.
That's lovely.
And that's really nice to see. And maybe, Leslie, I'll throw to you. What are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to just everyone back on campus, that seeing the students who are also excited, seeing all of us with renewed mission, if you will. So yeah, that fit. I mean, I'm looking forward to sweater weather too. There's no question. I'm kind of a prairie gal, so the heat is probably more than I like. So, but yes, it's mostly about the animation of campus and the real way we can roll up our sleeves and get back. Look at this.
Well, that's really great. Thank you, everyone.
Pumpkin spice, sorry.
Pumpkin spice made it in there. I saw that too. That's fabulous. And work potlucks. That's fun too. Okay, so you can, of course, use Slido to ask your questions, so please feel free to go in and do that. I don't see any questions popping up quite yet, but that's okay, because I do have one for Leslie. We got a broadcast email last week or not too long ago talking about masks on campus, and I'm wondering maybe if you can talk a little bit about that, and maybe more specifically, will we see different rules in classrooms, for example?
Right. Yeah, I mean, as you know, we made masks optional as of the beginning of July. That was when the mask mandate was taken off, and we have maintained that same decision for the fall term, so that we are not requiring masks, but we encourage people to wear masks if appropriate, and certainly if they feel that they are sick in any way. Well, if they're sick, you should stay home. But if you feel like you need that extra protection, absolutely. It will not be the case that an instructor could decide that their class is now a mandatory mask space, because we do not have any ability to force people one way or the other. And we really hope that the classroom, that offices, that we will come to an agreement together about what we all feel comfortable with, and be supportive of people who want to wear masks and people who don't want to wear masks. But I think that kind of conversation is going to be really important. I have to say that this reminds me of so I tell these stories and then I realize just how bizarre they seem. So when I was an undergraduate, you were still allowed to smoke in classrooms. But they had just brought something in that the class had to vote on whether smoking was allowed in each individual classroom. So this was and when the instructor when the professor smoked, there was always smoking allowed in the classroom. There was a hierarchy there. So I hope that classrooms and workplaces can come to a place where there is understanding of both, but we are not going to be mandating masks. We'll watch, because COVID is going to get is going to come back for us a bit in the fall. There's no question. COVID is not done with us, even if we're done with COVID. And so there may be changes as we go through. We'll have to pay attention to those. I was heartened to see that it looks like that we may have a booster that is actually effective against the Omicron variant, and so that could be an important change as well. So we'll watch for all of that.
Great, thank you. So we do have some questions coming in through Slido. I'm gonna ask you the first one right at the top of the list, and actually Rob may want to jump in on this one as well, Rob Einerson. But the question is, thank you for the ProPass, and is any work being done to work with BC Transit to make sure that the routes that service UBCO are not cut off at specific times or are perhaps expanded even?
I think that's directly to Rob.
I mean, we've been working with BC Transit for a while. Not unlike a lot of the other service units or service amenities in Kelowna, they're having a hard time. Get on a bus, get to restaurants, and these days, their big challenge is trying to get enough people to actually staff the buses that they're working on. Some of you may have heard, and you might have seen the signs on the edge of campus. There is going to be a new transit garage. Like, who cares about a transit garage? But that actually is one of the critical factors that they need to put more buses on the road, because they actually just didn't have enough physical space in some of their facilities to be able to put more buses, different types of buses, and then have them available. So we're hoping to see groundbreaking on the other side of John Hindle Drive, just over by the south roundabout, because that will be a critical portion, a bit of a pitch there. Actually, they're looking for electrification, and some of our faculty members are helping on research projects to try and make that happen as well. So there's a few things that are moving around in terms of getting them to improve service. The last mile is always the problem in Kelowna. It's the problem that I have where I live, and I think it's in a lot of neighborhoods, especially where students, faculty, and staff are. So we are trying to get them to improve those levels of bus service, but it's been a tough road for them. So we certainly are engaging with them. Obviously, the closer areas here, Quail Ridge, up to Academy Hill, and those kind of things, we have been trying to work with them to extend service, especially as our classes are now going later into the evening. So we're hoping that we can find a way for them to do that on our behalf. There have been questions about shuttles. Shuttle is something that could be a possibility, but running a transit system is complicated, as we see in the city of Kelowna. So if we're going to get into that business, it is a bit of a tricky thing for us to be able to do to provide that service. So there are ongoing discussions, but obviously, as you're seeing in the media, it's a bit of a dynamic environment right now. So we will continue to engage as best we can.
Yeah, and I guess the only thing I would add, Rob, is that just like there are many sectors that are struggling to find workers, and the transit system is one of those. And so we've been working with them to increase service, and they're still struggling to hire enough bus drivers, which may not be unconnected to the labor situation that we're seeing. So I think they would like to increase the routes for us if they could. It's just a matter of getting sufficient people to do so. And buses, I mean, it's a complicated space.
Okay,
Is this a follow-up? Do you want to?
No, it's a new question.
Oh, okay.
Can you just make your way down to the mic? That would be great.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ernest Goh. I'm an associate professor of teaching at the School of Engineering. Thank you, Dr. Cormack, for giving us that update. I think I'm most excited about the ICI building. This is next to the School of Engineering. And as a related comment to that, regarding student housing, quickly getting student housing up. 2 years ago, I supervised a group of engineering capstone students. That project went on to win a prize at the CSME project competition. It was an idea proposed by the students themselves to use discarded shipping containers to construct quick modular housing. Now, eventually, they pivoted their idea to the creation of study spaces on campus. But I wonder if the facilities management in UBCO would like to get back to them and re-explore their original idea of using these unused shipping containers to put up student housing very quickly.
I mean, thank you. That's super interesting. And I know that we are in a place where we're really trying to think outside the box, right? Not just think that all student housing needs to look in one way. I will say that I've been hearing that shipping containers are actually hard to get these days because they're all in China and haven't come back, but maybe the supply chain is changing that a bit. But I guess maybe I'll turn to Rob to just say, could there be next steps of a conversation about some of that?
You can certainly provide that information. I wasn't aware of that particular study. I mean, part of our challenge, Thompson Rivers, you might have seen put up some fairly efficiently built buildings on their campus about a year and a half ago. That didn't go so well. In conversations with them, I think we need to go into those things eyes open, right? So we do have certain expectations around energy usage. We have to have a certain level of care in those facilities, in the sense that we try and build facilities for our student residences that are both energy efficient, they're green, they meet the students' needs, they're appropriate to put students in. So I have no idea as to whether there would be implications for the type of facilities that you're looking at, but we certainly could examine it. But something that I have learned here from my colleagues both here and in Vancouver is, in a lot of cases we do things a little bit slower and a little bit more methodically with particular standards for reasons, right? And this building is a bit of an example of that sometimes the quick fixes can bridge us to something else. And as Leslie's mentioned, there are a few places that are things that we're putting up in order to be interim before permanent buildings are coming here. Some of the facilities at the end of the transit exchange are a part of that. But in the long run, you have to look at the total cost of ownership of those facilities. And I'm not speaking to that particular project. We could certainly see that. I know it's been done successfully elsewhere. But sometimes things that are cheaper in that first 3 to 5 years, they come back to haunt you later. And it's about the quality of experience there as well. So happy to send that on to me or to my office, myself and Aaron Mogerman. You could also send it on to me.
Shake his head.
And if I might say, from the communications team perspective too, I'd be interested in hearing more about that study. So reach out to media relations and university relations. Okay, we're going to take a question from Slido now, and that is right at the very top about the Indigenous language program. And is there an option to provide the course free of charge to Indigenous students?
And what I would say is that's a super interesting suggestion. And I don't know the logistics of all of that, but it would be something that we could certainly think about, right, Sylvia? So Sylvia's faculty is the one that's doing, I don't know if there's anything would you like to say anything about that?
Thank you. Building the Syilx language fluency program was incredibly complicated, and it is not just a language training, but it's a community building. So we cannot just simply open the door and say that anyone who wishes to come in can come in, because it's a long-term commitment. So we are very conscious of the cost. This is a program that is never going to make money for us, but we are committed to it. And so what we're working on is to build sort of succession. Interestingly enough, the first cohort of 10 students was all women at a different stage of their career, which I thought was really fascinating. So we are very, very carefully moving forward so that we don't just sort of open the door and say, everyone come in and build this, because as Leslie noted in her opening remarks, a language is the core of being. It is not just being trained in another foreign language. And so we have to be very, very careful how we proceed, because there is also a potential of harm being done. And so we are very much following the community's requests and wishes as we move along. But the cost is very much on our mind. We are very conscious of it. And as I said earlier, this is not going to be a program that will be money-making, but we are very committed to it.
But there's certainly, I don't know why I do that. There certainly is the possibility, I mean, this is a very new program, and we could imagine finding ways to have outreach that's more than the students, but let's get it right first. And we're in partnership with the Anokan and with the Nicola Valley Institute of Technology, so we really, as you say, it's complex and we need to be respectful. Okay, I'm just aware that we won't have time to get through everything, so.
Yeah, this question rocketed right to the top. It's a really good one, and that's around the international students and study permit delays. So can you talk a little bit about that, and maybe what we're doing to support them specifically?
Right. Well, I do want to quickly say something about advocacy. This has been a known problem for a while, and the U15 presidents have been advocating with the government, because obviously this is a federal government issue of getting study permits. It's not something that provincial government or we can do. And so there's been a lot of advocacy, and it does look like it's speeding up a little bit. So I'm actually guardedly hopeful that students are going to be able to arrive, and even if they can't arrive for this week, might still arrive in time for the term to work for them. But what we are doing a number of things, that we are reaching out to all of those students individually to see what options would work for them. For some of them, they may need to delay by 6 months or a year. That's not desired by anybody, because obviously they've really wanted to get started on their career, and this is a big setback for them. We're also going to have rolling orientation for international students, so that as they come, we will still do the full orientation for them, but they won't just have missed that. And of course, we're looking at, are there remote options for some of the courses they want to take? So could they start remotely and then move to being in person when they can do that? Doesn't always work, but there are those options. And we're even looking at, when we don't have offers of courses that are remote, but Vancouver does, are there ways that those students could take a Vancouver course so that they don't slow down their progress? And as many of you will know, the firewall is real, and so this could actually be the way that we move across that firewall. So that's sort of interesting as well. I'm sure there's much more, but we're definitely on it in a whole bunch of different ways.
So I've just highlighted a question here, and it's around a mortgage assistant program. And the reason I'm highlighting this is because this is something that came up at the town hall last year, or sorry, not last year, in the spring, around cost of living and inflation. And actually, I'd like to throw up a poll, if I could, Malcolm. I can't remember what number it is, but it's the one on cost of living. Poll number 3.
So we'll do that, and then I'll answer that. Is
yes,
that what you're
exactly.
saying?
That's the plan. So I'm hoping you and the audience give us a sense of how your households are feeling the pinch of inflation and cost of living. This is definitely something that came up, and just curious what the mood is in the room on this. I know our household is definitely feeling it as well.
And you can only do one, right?
I think you can actually choose more than one.
I know. It's like, is this, is it that? It's the little puzzle.
So Malcolm, I think we can start seeing the results here.
Ooh, look at this, real time.
So groceries and housing and long-term savings is not hugely surprising. I mean, we're definitely seeing costs go up at the grocery till. But Leslie, if you don't mind, if you can say anything about what we're doing around some of those issues, and Rob, you may want to jump in as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a ton that we can be doing about that. Cost of groceries is kind of what it is. In terms of mortgage assistance, this is a complex program that requires us to find, if you will, the liquidity, where the money might sit, and also how and when and why it gets distributed. I think that our goal is to, in the course of this year, sort that out. But we also don't yet know. We need to talk to the deans, because the faculties are involved in this as well. And so it's still early days. We've mostly spent an amount of time understanding what the program was and is in Vancouver. And we might not want to go exactly the same way as Vancouver. There might be different things that we wanted to put on the table. And so I am hoping you will hear in this term what is happening, but I think the goal is to have it fully functional starting next year. So there'll be some kind of look back, but we need to look at that as well. So.
Okay, so we're getting close to the end of our Q&A period. I'm going to ask one more question.
Okay.
It's one that's been floating to the top for a little while here, and that's around food services and what we can expect from food services on campus. And actually, Alex, I'm wondering if you might be able to chime in on that piece as well. And I was supposed to carry the microphone.
Oh, wow. Other duties as assigned.
Thanks. I think this is a plug that I get to put in. So nice to meet you all. One of the things that we've been focused on this summer is recruiting, and specifically food service workers. So I understand we're recruiting over 90 positions in the food service worker category. And I'm learning the lingo, the food services lingo, both front of house and back of house. So I think luckily we're beginning to recruit lots of our students at the front of house. But this is your opportunity to, and are asked to go to your networks and consider those people who might be interested in working at UBC, both, especially if you know cooks. You can't have the front of house without the back of house people preparing the food. So that's a really important part of our recruitment strategy. There will be a great story coming out that highlights some of our amazing staff that work in food services already, a little bit about their careers and what makes their careers special and why they picked here, because people have choices, but they chose UBC to work with amazing students, faculty, and staff, and so that story will be coming out. So that does not answer your question about what's open when, but that's outside my bailiwick, so maybe I'll pass this back. Thanks.
Well, except that what it reminds us is, unless we have people working, everything will not be open.
Yes.
Right? That we will do our best to have, I mean, certainly the Pritchard will be open, we have those students, but we're going to be juggling a little bit unless we can hire those 90 people. Rob, do you want to say more?
Yeah. And you can certainly go to the website. There's actually a very good website. Might make you hungry if you go. You can just do a search on any kind of your browser to kind of find it, and there it's listing all the hours of the various facilities that are open, and you can kind of check that out in terms of what you're looking for. Obviously, Pritchard is the all-you-care-to-eat model. There's other facilities that are more grab-and-go. There's other ones where you can kind of get just something if you need to supplement your lunch. But that's a good place to go. That will be updated on an active basis, just in terms of when it's open and when it's not. During the summertime, we have had situations where some of those things haven't been 100% accurate because, quite honestly, people haven't shown up. And we've had to kind of do what a lot of places do, and we've had to restrict hours back to, instead till 2 o'clock, it's been till 1 or till noon. So we struggle like a lot of other places. But that's the best place to go to kind of get the up-to-date information. And certainly food service, what they're trying to do is identify which outlets provide the most food to the most people in the most effective way. So you might be wondering, hey, it's not in my building, and why is it not in this building versus another building? And that's where food service is really trying to deploy the resources that they have, the people that they have in the places that serve the most amount of foods. And some of them provide food to the other outlets. So it is a bit of a complicated ecosystem, but as Alex and Shannon certainly know, we've been working very hard to try and make sure we're able to do as much as we possibly can with food service.
Good.
Thanks, Rob. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the Q&A portion. Thank you, Leslie, so much for taking the time to do that with us. I'm going to ask one more time for Martin to come up. He has a really special announcement to give. Martin.
Okay, so I am going to tell you a little bit about our campus positioning, but first we're going to show you a couple of videos. So we're going to start off with TikTok. Show of hands if you know TikTok. Okay, great. For those of you who don't know TikTok, we launched our account this summer, and basically TikTok is a social media platform that focuses on short form videos, ultimately targeting the age group between 18 to 24. So the right demographic for us for targeting our students. And so we posted this video that showcased the growth of UBCO from 2005 to where it is today. So we're going to show you that video now. So that's great. Thanks, Malcolm. Okay, so that video had close to 62,000 views. By our terms, that's pretty viral. And so as you can imagine, it really just showed the success of our story. And as we grow as a campus, we need to hone what our story is. We need to be consistent and concise with what our story is. Whether we share it as the communications and marketing group, or whether you talk about it to your own group. And the point is that we need to be able to have that story down packed. And so we've spent the past 18 months shaping what that story is. We know that UBCO is no longer what it was, and it is not yet what it will be. And we've consulted with our campus community right across the board, and together we've reached this conclusion that what makes UBCO unique is that we combine the resources and reputation of one of the world's top universities with a young and dynamic campus that offers a transformative university experience in an extraordinary place. We are internationally renowned and a close-knit campus. We have a strong local connection and we make a global impact. We have a rich history in our partnership with the Silk Okanagan Nation, as you've heard from Leslie, and we are delivering endless innovation through research. So notice the and, not a but. Our campus resolves these dichotomies. It figures out a way to actually address the dichotomies that you've heard me talk about. And that's because we're committed to bringing worlds together to reveal new ways of seeing and thinking, opening minds to new possibilities and inspiring potential in students and scholars to make these new connections that drive the economic, scientific, social, and cultural change at UBCO. At UBCO, we are all in. So this promotional campaign that we're launching is going to be used to raise awareness about our campus across BC, Canada, and even internationally. This fall, the campaign is going to roll out, and it will be used to in digital ads, digital signage, and connected internet television. We're going to show you a sneak peek of the video today. It's just one of the many assets that will accompany this campaign. But before we do that, I think it's worth noting and giving a huge thank you to all of the faculties, to all of the students, staff, alumni, and partners that we have engaged with over the past 18 months in shaping the story, getting their feedback. They've contributed in many ways. They've participated in the video, in the photos, and are doing the work of building this actual campaign. And a huge thank you to Leanne Takinaka, who is really the maestro of bringing all of these different pieces together. So we're just going to show you a sneak peek, but if you want to see more, you'll have to make sure you follow us on our social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and our newly launched LinkedIn. So with that, we'll show you the video. Thank you.
So I just wanted to jump up to say again, as Martin had said, thank you to everyone involved in this project. That we had consultation from deans and students and faculty and staff, many, many hours of work, and which Leanne was instrumental in making happen. And look at the result, it's astonishing. I don't have a list of everybody, you don't have to worry, I'm not gonna name them all, but I really wanna thank, this has really been a team project, the University Relations team, the larger team of UBCO, and so thank you all. And yeah, this is gonna be an exciting new venture for us, and I think will really, really put us on the map. So thank you all. And people doing amazing things. Now we're on to the staff awards.
Indeed, so this is my favorite part of the Fall Town Hall. The next person we're going to ask to come up needs no introduction because she's been introduced a couple of times now already. Alex Bain is our new Managing Director of Human Resources, and we were talking the other day about what her priorities are, and she really wants to focus on people and celebrating the people that make this such a great place to work. So I think it's great that you get to be introduced to the campus in this way. So Alex, take it away.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you. And nice to see you all. And he's correct. This is like the best part of my job is getting to read all the amazing nominations and what people have contributed here at UBC Okanagan. So to give you a little bit of background, these awards celebrate outstanding contributions from our staff members that enrich the UBC experience for students, faculty, and their coworkers. We've received a total of 24 nominations this year. All of them were worthy of an award. That being said, we couldn't give an award to everyone. It's a true reflection of the incredible dedication of our staff and the important role that recognition holds in our workplace. I want to start by thanking those that nominated people, because encouraging you to continue and to encourage you to continue to do so. It takes a lot to take time out of your day and find time to recognize your colleagues, and I really appreciate that this community does that and takes time to recognize the people that they work with. I also want to make a special mention of the awards committee members, Anthony Dodds, Catherine Douglas Campbell, Kristen Cecchioni, Martin Youssef, Nolia McNeil, and they were supported by Shannon Balance and Carrie Ann Kozak. They had a particularly challenging task to select only 6 award recipients from these amazing nominations. So the categories that we're awarding today are in the following categories: advancing anti-racism and inclusive excellence, enhancing the UBC experience, global citizenship, leadership, Okanaga's campus spirit, and well-being. Each winner receives a certificate and $2,000, and in the case of the team, they will share an award of $5,000, and we will have to check back in on them to see what the heck they do with that $5,000 as a team. Leslie, if I can invite you back up, we have more for you to do. What I'm gonna do is I will announce each winner and ask them to come to the front to receive their certificate and have a photo taken with Leslie. Then I'll read a short citation so you all know the amazing things that they did. And after that, if those individuals can take a seat at this table at the front, right here, just beside Leslie, we'll do a group photo after the ceremony is over. So let me get on with it. I feel like it's the Oscars or the Emmys. It's very exciting. The first award recognizes the important work of advancing anti-racism and inclusive excellence, and is awarded to an individual or team who accomplishes some or all of the following. Showing leadership and promoting inclusive excellence by encouraging professional development to build equity, inclusion and anti-racist competencies, building respectful environments to enhance inclusion, in particular the experiences of systemically underrepresented and marginalized communities, or actively seeking opportunities to learn, develop, and implement equity and inclusion principles in processes and practices. Or in case that's not enough, they have advanced equity, diversity, and inclusion by removing barriers in meaningful and active participation in university life, enhanced accessibility of physical and virtual environments, work to embed processes and practices of equity and inclusion in their area of influence, leading by example, and applying an equity lens to projects and initiatives within their area of influence. So this year, the Advancing Anti-Racism Inclusive Excellence Award goes to Damien Bell. Congratulations, Damien. Come on down. Always wanted just to say that. So, working as a graduate academic services officer in the Faculty of Graduate Studies, Damien has taken a leadership role in advancing equity, diversity, and inclusive excellence practices within his department, as well as in the broader UBC community. He is committed to continuous learning in the EDI space, and then putting that knowledge he gains into practice for the betterment of the College of Grad Studies, students, staff, faculty, and the community. Damien has been nominated by Peter Simpson, Paul Shipley, Deanna Roberts, and Alicia Meehan, who describe his passion and commitment to EDI as not only something that makes the College of Graduate Studies a better place to work, but also helps to create a more inclusive community for IBPOC students and staff, as well as creating important campus-wide initiatives that will impact the university for years to come. The enthusiastic letters of support we received for Damien listed his many contributions and achievements in this area, of which we're just going to name a few. Participating in the Federal Dimensions Program, initiating and supporting an EDI book club, regularly attending and contributing to IBPOC staff and faculty meetings, spending his day off on campus having lunch with Black Canadian high school students, answering questions around what it means to be Black on campus and succeed at university. He also assisted in developing a cultural and social awareness graduate study credentials. Without a doubt, Damien is participating in the work of advancing anti-racism with his colleagues in the College of Graduate Studies, UBC staff, faculty outside of his department, and the community overall. Congratulations, Damien. The next award is Enhancing the UBC Experience. It's awarded to an individual who's accomplished some or all of the following: improve the value and efficiency of the services they provide, maintain a constantly high quality of service to the university customers, including faculty, staff, students, and alumni, anticipating client needs and potentially problem solving and acting to proactively resolve their concerns, creating new, cost-effective, or innovative methods of performing day-to-day tasks, displaying exemplary problem solving, and serving as a role model to others. So this year, the Enhancing the UBC Experience goes to Janet Heisler. Congratulations, Janet. There she is. So throughout her 15 years of service at UBC Okanagan in Earth, Environmental, and Geographic Sciences, Janet has been described by faculty, staff, and students as a department anchor and a pillar of help. Currently working as a senior department assistant, Janet fosters a family culture where faculty and staff work together to enhance the student experience. Janet has been nominated by Professor John Greeno, who describes her as exceptionally organized, a genius at scheduling, the ultimate people person, a software genius, a major problem solver, and a multitasker par excellence. On top of this, Janet is always cheerful, positive, welcoming, supportive, and constantly goes above and beyond the call of duty. Janet has enhanced the UBC experience by being involved in testing and implementing new software, providing mentorship to fellow staff, serving as a role model to staff, students, and the UBC community, and streamlining approval processes for graduate courses. It is clear Janet is enhancing the UBC experience for everyone she comes in contact with. Congratulations, Janet. Up next, we have the Global Citizenship Award to an individual who accomplishes some of the following. They initiate and maintain sustainable collaborative partnerships with UBC or the community, government, Indigenous, or other educational organizations. They demonstrate system thinking and encourage collaboration, sense-making, and integration across campuses. They exemplify good citizenship through personal volunteerism and by helping to position UBC as a good citizen in the wider world. They serve as a mentor or model citizen to students, faculty, staff, or community members outside UBC Okanagan. And today, this award goes to Dana Loughton. Dana, come on down. As the Assistant Director for Go Global in the Global Engagement Office, Dana has in fact led the UBCO Go Global Office for the better part of 2 decades, fostering connections at UBCO and around the world. Dana embodies a global-minded citizen who is committed to her local community. Nominated by Philip Reichert, Director of the Global Engagement Office, Dana is described through Phil's submission and many letters of support as someone who goes above and beyond, displaying quiet but impactful leadership across both campuses and fostering lasting relationships both at UBC and abroad. Students are the center of everything that she does, and she understands that international experiences can have positive effects on students' development of global citizenship competencies and academic growth. As a result of this, Dana is one of the biggest champions of international education at UBC and was able to grow the number of students coming on exchange to the Okanagan campus over several years, raising the profile of UBCO. In March 2020, when almost 800 UBC exchange students had to suddenly be brought home due to the pandemic, Dana worked tirelessly to support those distressed students and bring them home, dealing with faculty and parents as well. Always professional and empathetic, she somehow stayed calm through it all. Among her many accomplishments, including recently completing her Doctor of Education, Dana's worked to create new and innovative programming such as summer study abroad, research experiences, and a faculty-led overseas programming. In addition, she provided leadership in the creation of the Visiting International Research Student Pathways that brings international scholars right here to UBC Okanagan. She also played a key role in the Global Indigenous Connection Program, connecting UBC Indigenous students with Indigenous communities in Argentina and Brazil. Congratulations. So our next award is for leadership, and it's awarded to an individual that establishes and maintains exemplary and inclusive people practices, provides a sense of purpose, vision, and mission for their coworkers, positively influences others to build consensus and action around department or organizational objectives, manages and leads change initiatives effectively, achieves sustainable results, and invests time and effort in coaching and mentoring others. This year, the award goes to Erlene Roberts. Woo. While Erlene's title is currently listed in Workday's Manager Disability Resource Center, in 2021 she took on the role of Interim Director of the DRC while the search for a new director was in progress, diving in headfirst as she suddenly found herself leading a team of relatively new managers. Jared Dean, Programs and Operation Coordinator of the DRC, nominated Erlene for this award and describes how she brought this new team together, building relationships as well as understanding of each of the department's roles while planning for the future. Erlene is described as a strategic coach-like leader, building connections and understandings within her team along with outside departments that they might collaborate with, all while keeping an open-door policy to support staff. Erlene helped in building a respectful, inclusive, and collaborative environment for student wellness team, raising the profile of the directorate throughout the university. She drove previously unrealized connections between the disparate departments, created new processes and relationships which supported improvements in student outcomes across the well-being continuum. She drove these connections both inside and outside of student wellness. She also led the department in strategic reviews, including the planning and implementation of goals related to the Indigenous Strategic Plan. She coached newer managers to help understand their roles with the department, working closely with them to manage operational issues. Congratulations. The next award, Okanagan Campus Spirit, is awarded to a department or colleagues or interdisciplinary group or committee members of 3 or more people that have demonstrated the following. Consistently demonstrate enthusiasm, dedication, perseverance, and excellence in the face of a challenge, works collaboratively, encouraging participation and openness while sharing ideas, promotes a positive work environment characterized by respect, support, trust, and collegiality, understands its role within UBC and uses an agreed-upon approach to achieve its mission project outcomes, integrates effective meeting skills, problem-solving tools, planning techniques, and conflict resolution strategies to achieve directed results. And if you really want to know what team did that this year, it's the Okanagan Planning and Institutional Research Team. Congratulations, we'll get you all to come up. And we are checking back in to see what you're going to do with that award money. The au pair team members are Jody Foster, Christy Hoffman, Irene McKechnie, Max Neville, Camilo Pena, Jody Seaver, Dominika Veskalowski, and Gavin Yap. Au pair is a team of data scientists who engage with people to help them collect and analyze data, turning that data into practical information, reports, and stories that inform and advance efforts, which are at the core of UBC's enhancing transformative learning. This team has been nominated by Brett Harris, Associate Director of Au Pair. I said Brett, didn't I? Sorry, Brent. Brent described the au pair team as showing tremendous enthusiasm, dedication, and perseverance over the past year, performing their duties at extremely high levels of excellence. They enthusiastically take on any challenge that comes their way, which often includes last-minute requests, complex analytic tasks, and guiding stakeholders through unfamiliar processes, which sometimes includes sacrificing their own projects to lend a hand or to stay late to make sure everyone has what they need. The past 2 years have put data and analytics at the forefront of our decision-making. The au pair team has been an instrumental asset for staff, faculty, and students in navigating the effects of the pandemic on UBC through the collection and analysis of institutional and external data. The team brings a positive attitude to each of their projects and works together to present a variety of ideas and useful ways to draw connections using a collaborative problem-solving approach. A few of the activities the team have been involved in include developing an interactive dashboard to support the Return to Work Task Force and completing a provincial framework for understanding the impact of COVID on work-integrated learning experiences. A model of peer support and positive work environment, the au pair team shares resources, bounces ideas off each other, laughs, very important in a workplace, and helps each other through tough times. Mutual respect is through the roof as they trust each other and support each other in all they do. Assisting with the analysis of survey data from staff, faculty, and students. The au pair team truly reflects the Okanagan campus spirit, which is to be helpful, open, and transparent, and to do that with smile and genuine care. Congratulations, all of you. All right, new this year, well-being. Well-being is awarded to an individual or team who accomplishes some or all of the following: creates opportunities for others to increase their knowledge, skills, and awareness of individual, community, or organizational well-being, led activities and initiatives that promote the social, physical, or mental health and well-being for those who study, work, and live at UBC, create or develop welcoming physical or virtual spaces to nurture an increased sense of community and collaboration, inspired community members to foster connections and create networks of care for themselves and others, work to embed well-being and projects, initiatives within their area of influence, and promote and enhance the well-being of students, faculty, or staff. And this year, the Wellbeing Award goes to Casey Hamilton. Casey, where are you? Whoop, whoop. There we go. That's more Prices Right run. That's what we've got. As a well-being strategist and dietitian, some may think that being awarded the Well-Being Award would be easy for Casey, but Casey clearly goes above and beyond to research, advocate, and even publish her work for a healthier campus for all in many ways. Carrie's nominator, Melissa Feddersen, manager, campus wellness and education, describes Casey's exceptional work building student capacity and knowledge about healthy food on campus, teaching student food skills, initiating a campus food hub, and hosting a trial farmers market on campus. Casey also led a community research project related to food insecurity for students with potential solutions, which will influence both campuses for years to come. Casey is described as passionate, strategic, collaborative, values-driven, working to advance the mission of healthy UBC in everything she does. She works to create positive change, sets a tone and culture of collaboration and partnership building across campus, working with faculty and staff, but also focused on student learning, leadership, and mentorship. Casey's a cheerleader, advisor, influencer, and relationship builder. She's always encouraging others to be change makers in health and well-being. Congratulations. Whew, that's it. Again, I want to thank you all for nominating and being part of the process and being here today to celebrate those people who were awarded awards. Our staff awards of excellence couldn't happen without a lot of people's efforts and enthusiasm. So I also just want to thank everyone for attending this morning, and we'll see you at the Welcome Back Barbecue and Information Fair that starts at 11:30. That's going to be held in the Central Courtyard. So thank you, everybody.